again, I'd like to welcome everybody um, for our event this morning. So I appreciate Phil Data inviting us to speak to you, our customers. So we have this chance to at least tell you about how we can help you, diba, when it comes to working remotely. So today's discussion, I will try my best not to make it as technical as possible. Kumbaga, makikipagkwentuhan lang tayo so you can better understand what our portfolio is when it comes to solutions. Just to go back, no, it's a very unprecedented moment in history. So, 6 months ago, more or less, lahat tayo nagulat, di ba? Ginulantang tayo ng COVID-19. Everybody was so used to working at the office, then suddenly, lahat tayo biglang kailangan to work from home. In fact, hindi lang tayo yung only people which are affected in this pandemic. Siguro nakwento ko na to sa two other presentations that I've made before, di ba? Yung something that's probably close to our heart. Yung mga suki natin, for example, sa mga wet market, 'di ba? Sila ate, sila kuya, when we buy from them, usually pupunta tayo sa kanila to pick out yung pinakasariwa nilang tinda. But in this situation, pati sila, they have to level up. They have to make sure that they use the online platforms for them to be able to thrive their businesses. So, why am I saying this? It just goes to show na hindi lang tayo within the IT industry, hindi lang lahat ng industriya, in fact, are very much affected. Even to those customers natin, even those people na talagang walang kateki-teki sa dugo nila, they have to elevate themselves just to keep themselves afloat. And hopefully, this morning, maikwento namin as Dell how we can help you to survive itong situation na to when it comes to technology. Okay? So, kami, just a short kwento, no, within Dell, we're actually very, very fortunate because bago pang mag-pandemic, we've actually been working anywhere, no? So, some people are working from home, some people are working while they are traveling. So, hindi kami tali sa opisina. The same experience that when we are at the office working, it goes the same. Kahit nasa airport kami, we're at a customer's office, no, bago mag-start yung meeting, minsan nasa kotse, 'di ba, traffic, even our mobile phones nagagamit natin. We were able to get the same experience kahit nasaan kami. All the applications, yung productivity tools, even yung mga intranet sites, accessible siya para sa amin. So, walang makakapigil sa amin, 'di ba? Kahit nasaan kami. Again, work is not a place today. It's in fact a lifestyle, 'di ba? Minsan pagising mo pa lang sa umaga, you look at your phone. So, ganun na siya. So, I guess my colleagues who are also in this call can also attest, diba? And they will also agree na medyo maswerte tayo dahil hindi kami ganong nahirapan when it comes to the adjustment, no, nung nagkaroon ng COVID kasi lahat ng tools namin are already in place. Okay? So, having said that, kita natin here in this slide that there are two segments, no, for us to be able to have a successful work from home scenario, no, for our customers. Of course, the first is you have to enable your users to to have a right endpoint device, diba? Whether it be a notebook, yung internet connectivity nila, they have to find a very quiet place at home, their own workspace sa bahay, 'di ba? Something to simulate kung paano sila sa office. But again, having all these things, hindi yan matatapos dyan eh. Wearing the IT hat naman, yung mga IT administrator hats natin, you have to ensure that your IT infrastructure at the back end is ready to deliver all these applications and productivity tools and even yung network connectivity to your users, di ba? Kasi they cannot just simply consume applications and productivity tools, di ba? So the back end, yung mga data centers natin should also be prepared to handle all these workloads. Okay? So, when all this work from home setup has risen, no, because of the pandemic, we came up within Dell 5 of the most commonly asked questions or challenges ng mga customers natin. How do they or how can they go remote as fast as they can? So basically, the first one is thinking about how can we deliver our applications to our users the fastest time possible. Second is how do we ensure now that our workers are using the right workstations or the right devices that can handle very sensitive information. The third one is now how do I extend yung security profile? Given na sanay tayo ngang nasa office, di ba? Meron tayong group policies, we're in a network. How do we ensure that all these things are enabled pa rin sa mga users natin? The fourth one is how do I ensure critical workers get the network performance that they need or they require, no? As if they are at the office. Last but not least is now how do I enable my IT to meet the infrastructure growth demands with all these going remote fast, no, for our workers. But in this morning session, since this is a client solutions presentation, we will be more focused on number 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So si 4 and 5 would typically be discussed about a different group. Tayo will focus more on the endpoints. No? So let me kick off and start. Okay? So, of course, itong workforce solution natin, we, of course, definitely have to talk about the devices. And we're very happy and we're very excited, no, that we've recently launched our new devices. Siyempre, importante yan that our users get the right hardware. Of course, yung mga accessories na nakadikit dyan is very important, di ba? Like a second monitor probably, a docking station. Lahat yan are to complete yung offering natin. Of course, having a life cycle software management, no? Which kanina, before we started this whole uh, webinar, may mga pinakita si Phil Data na videos, di ba? When it comes to unified workspace on Workspace 1. Later on, pag-uusapan din natin yan. And of course, last but not least, hindi mawawala ang services. Of course, services plays a very, very big part in making this whole solution complete. And hindi lang just completing it, but definitely making your lives as our customer much easier, 'di ba? Lalo na sa panahon na ngayon na pandemic. So let me start off. Okay, for those of you who are not yet familiar, Latitude is Dell's commercial notebook brand. Okay, so si Latitude yan. So I am showing you now a glimpse of the portfolio that we are offering this 2020. Makita natin medyo marami, 'di ba? A bit overwhelming. But I guess to give you guys a guide kung paano siya babasahin, we practically have 4 series to choose from. Okay? So para alam natin kung alin ba yung mas fit sa atin, the Latitude has 4 series. First is yung 3,000, next is the 5,000, 7,000, and the latest one which was only launched this year, yung 9,000 series, okay? So how do we now differentiate each series from another? So basically, your 3,000 series is yung pinaka-entry natin, di ba? It comes in 3 sizes or 3 screen sizes of 14, 15, and 13 na 2-in-1, okay? So ito yung pinaka entry natin, which is also configurable to order. Yung 5,000 series is our mid-range, okay? So, when you compare the difference of a 3,000 to the 5,000 series, mas manipis na siya, okay? And it offers a multitude of models to choose from. From the mainstream na mga U processors dito sa 5310, 5410, 5510, and even a 2-in-1 na 13-inch, meron rin tayong ino-offer na H processors. Kung hindi kayo familiar with the H processor, it's a much powerful processor, or this device is much more powerful than your mainstream one. So, pasok rin siya sa 5,000 series. 'Diba? Para doon sa mga heavy Excel users perhaps, or yung mga few for marketing people na who are doing basic editing, pwede natin tong i-offer. And of course, for customers who are looking at a Chrome device, meron tayong dalawang models to choose from. When we come into the 7000 series, ito na yung medyo mas high-end natin na device. So, comparing it now from a 5000 series, mas manipis na siya at mas magaan. So, having said that, dahil luminipis at gumagaan siya, some of the ports may not be available, such as an RJ45 perhaps. When it comes to configuration, yung kanyang hard drive, it uses SSD only dahil nga we have to ensure yung lightness and thinness of the device. So, pang mga executives. So, we launched the 9000 series this year. So, bago-bago to. Relatively bago-bago siya. So, how does it now differ from the 7000 series? So, a little backstory lang. For some of those customers of ours who really loved yung XPS natin, di ba? But XPS was a consumer device that we just leveraged on. What Dell had done was to create a full-blown commercial device na kapalit nun, di ba? So the XPS will still be there, but it will be mainly pushed for our consumer customers, no, yung mga end users. But for yung customers natin na executives in a corporate environment who are looking for a more durable device na military standard tested, no, a more predictable roadmap, 'di ba, na nakikita natin kailan ng start ng benta na to at kailan siya mag-EOL. Ito yung 9000 series, diba? So having said that, this is a device that we can offer for our executives. So basically, yung 9510 and the 9410 are 15 and 14-inch devices, but the 9510, it sits on a 14-inch platform. And the 9410 sits in a 13-inch platform. So ibig sabihin, yung kaha niya, maliit. Pero yung screen side niya, sagad na sagad, no? As in, manipis na manipis yung kanyang bezel. So, kumbaga is very maximized to save on the space and the weight nung device. So, that is something new and exciting that we have launched this year. Okay, so again, all of our devices from this year are using already the latest 10th generation Intel Core processors. Okay, so for those customers of ours who are still keen on getting a more robust, more powerful endpoint device, ito yung mga Optiplex natin. So again, for customers who are not yet familiar, si Optiplex is our commercial desktop brand. Okay? So katulad rin ng pinsan niyang si Latitude, no? It also follows the same 3000, 5000, and 7000 series. So within this series, no, makikita natin how it differs from one another. Kanina, when we were talking about notebooks, it was more about the design, the lightness, yung look and feel, no, for executives. Whereas for a desktop, iba naman ang usapan. Yung 3000 series natin would be our entry desktop. Of course, it's very secure. It uses a B460 chipset. Lahat ng ito, of course, is using the latest 10th gen processors today, no, across the 3, 5, and 7000 series. So, how does the 5000 series differ? Okay, it uses a different chipset. Q chipset na yung ginagamit niya. Yung 3000, let's remember, it's a very basic commercial desktop that we use. Okay, so si 5000 naman, ang ino-offer niya, it offers more expansion options when it comes to, let's say, USB ports, when it comes to PCI slots, no, PCIe slots na ginagamit ng mga natin as our customers, diba? You have more expansion options balang araw. So, ito na rin has a native Type-C port na built-in sa kanyang machine. And now, coming into the 7000 series, it's a more flexible desktop, no? Medyo malapit ang specs niya with the 5000 series, except that when you need a vPro solution in your environment, automatically you have to go with a 7000 series desktop. So they use the same chipset ng 5000, but yung vPro capability is enabled sa 7000 series. So another good thing na meron dito, mas mataas yung mga graphic options na ino-offer natin, and of course, we offer a wider range of processors katulad ng Core i9 for example, 'di ba? Which mostly is being offered sa mga precision natin. But for this particular model ng ating Optiplex, we are offering it, okay? So, mapapansin rin natin that all the three devices that you see in the screen has three form factors that you see, no? Itong maliit, which is we call a micro form factor. The second one is a small form factor, and the third is a mini tower. So again, we are giving that option or let our customers choose kung ano ba yung mas swak sa kanilang environment. Because again, every chassis or every form factor would have its own pros and cons, diba? So, for example, itong pinakamaliit natin, which is called the micro. It is it's an energy saving device. It only utilizes up to 65 watts. So for those na walang patayan, 'di ba? Just like our BPO customers na 24/7 tumatakbo yan, isipin niyo sa dami ng mga devices na nasa office nila, 'di ba? Malaking bagay ito because it only uses 65 watts. Whereas the small form factor naman, it's about 180, but it gives you a little bit more flexibility when it comes to, let's say, giving you an option to install a graphic card, di ba? Mas marami siyang USB ports, for example. So, yan yung mga practical usages niya. And of course, the mini tower, para dun sa mga customers natin who doesn't have any issues when it comes to space, 'di ba? Marami silang space sa opisina nila or kung saan man, the mini tower is the perfect fit para sa kanila. So eventually when they want to expand or they want to upgrade yung configuration nila in the near future, they can do so, diba? Dahil marami siyang nakaabang. So the three form factors are very much available sa ating 3, 5, and 7,000 series. The good thing about the 7,000 series pala this year, I forgot to mention, the micro form factor, this very, very small one, is already offering a discrete graphics card option up to 2 gig. Okay? So, unlike yung 3 and 5,000, wala pa yan. And another good benefit that we have offered starting this year using the 10th generation Intel Core processors, the 5000, 7000 series desktop will now offer the Dell Optimizer, which later on ikukwento natin. Okay? Okay. So let's proceed. Okay? Yeah. So tayo, 'di ba? We're so used to having competition, 'di ba? It's a very healthy competition as I would call it, no? Maraming mga iba-ibang brands in the market. Ang laging usapan usually, no, when it comes to notebooks, sino pinakamanipis, sinong pinakamagandang specs, sino pinakamagaan, sino may magandang kulay. It was always about a physical discussion, no? Yung mga configuration yan, it always was a discussion about physical attributes, ano yung mga specs, ano yung ganyan. This year, si Dell, we came up with a very good differentiator, di ba? Hindi naman kasi matatapos ang usapan natin with always kung ano lang yung kayang gawin ng hardware mismo. But the user experience or how we work, especially in this pandemic na situation, plays a big part. And this is something that is quite new, and we have extended this software or this tool as a free tool sa ating mga Latitude devices and to some of our Optiplex, which is nakipakita natin kanina, the 5000 and 7000 series, which we call the Dell Optimizer. So if you look at the screen today, this is how your notebook would look like. It's actually a very, very small agent, no? It's a software that is built in, which uses AI and machine learning. So ito siya. This is the Dell Optimizer. Okay? So again, it's a free tool to help enhance yung user experience natin while we are working, kung nasan pa man tayo. So the Dell Optimizer comprises of different features. this is one of the nicest features that I think is very useful. No, it's called the express response. So anong kayang gawin ni express response? It's part of the Dell Optimizer wherein you can choose up to 5 of your most commonly used applications. Pwede mo siyang i-fill in, di ba? Like for example, kung madalas tayong gumamit ng Excel, ng Outlook, ng Chrome, PowerPoint, at isa pa, di ba? So you can choose up to 5. What it does is eventually through time, no, habang ginagamit mo siya ng ginagamit, lalo siyang nakahasa. No? So, bibilis yung performance niya using machine learning and AI, and it also coordinates at the background with your processor and memory usage. So, ganun po siya. And we've also had some questions before wherein, for example, if na-fill in ko na, let's say, 5 of the most commonly used applications ko, I want to put in a 6th application. Pwede naman po. But again, the maximum is 5. So from the 5, you have to take out 1 and replace it with another application that you would want. So pwede naman natin siyang paglaruan in that sense, okay? So it's very flexible. So I guess this is very nice to have for those customers that are looking at something, you know, yung ang dami-dami yung sabay-sabay na ginagawa, 'di ba? And usually nababagalan tayo. So this would actually help make things much faster when it comes to optimizing your choice of applications. Okay? Next, this is the express charge. Okay? So si express charge, I think is also very timely, lalong-lalo na sa mga notebook users natin, 'di ba? This particular feature works in several different ways. Okay, so the first is, for example, gusto mo ng fast charge, no? So si express charge can actually help charge your device from, let's say, about 30% to about 80% in less than 1 hour. So isa yan. Pangalawa, when, let's say, your device has gone down to a certain level of battery percentage to about 20 or so, ginagawa niya using machine learning and AI at the background, those applications which you are not using, for example, yung screen mo, naka full brightness ka, it will dim the screen. Yung keyboard natin, kapag let's say naka backlit keyboard rin tayo, i-off niya yan. So, kumbaga, tinitipid niya yung baterya eventually until such time na hindi pa tayo nakakahanap ng power outlet, di ba? And in fact, in many places here in the Philippines, maraming nakaka-experience sa mga power surge, di ba? Biglang nawawalan ng kuryente. I think this is a feature that is something that's very practical, no, for yung mga users na nakakaranas ng ganyan. So at least hindi tayo nagagahol with the power that we are left with until such time na, let's say, bumalik yung power and we can already charge our devices. So yan. Okay. Next, intelligent audio. So, si intelligent audio is also a built-in tool, no, sa lahat ng devices natin na may optimizer. Tayo today, most of us are really working from home, and katulad nito, meron tayong webinar, meron tayong mga con calls, di ba, buong araw. And sometimes, hindi natin maiiwasan, there's a lot of background noise. Minsan may tao, may asong tatahol, may mga manok na tumitilao, minsan yung anak mo iiyak, diba? You can control these background noises. So what intelligent audio does, it automatically changes, no, yung background noise. You can actually choose up to about 4 profiles na pwede mong i-enhance yung voice mo, especially if you are a speaker, just like myself today. I have to be heard, no, ng audience ko, and i-dim niya yung background noise sa paligid natin. So it's a very practical feature to have, especially ngayon na lahat tayo nasa work from home, 'di ba? So this really helps us in having a more productive conference call with our customers and even with our internal stakeholders. Okay? Yeah. So next is the express sign-in. So si Express Sign-in naman, this is a feature ni Dell Optimizer which requires a special configuration, no? So basically, kailangan ng proximity sensor na naka-install dun sa machine, which is usually offered sa ating mga 7000 and 9000 series, so pang mga high-end. So again, itong feature na to, it helps the user log in, no, sa kanilang mga devices much faster. There are some customers of ours who have asked, no, paano naman ang security, 'di ba? Minsan nakakaligtaan natin, you walk away, you forgot to lock. So, with this proximity sensor, it actually detects the user when they have walked away and the PC will lock kapag nawala na siya sa proximity o sa harapan ng device nila. So, yun naman ang kagandahan. So, it ensures that nobody will tamper on your device, especially if you're working on sensitive data. So, ganyan po siya. So, that's how it works. Okay? Yan. So, we've talked about the Dell Optimizer, no? Ngayon naman, kanina, di ba, if you recall, we will be talking about devices. We will now be talking about the second portion, which is how to manage itong mga devices natin, di ba? So, within the solution now, working from home, we are very happy, and I guess we're again blessed that VMware is part of the Dell Technologies umbrella. And the good thing about it is that they have this product called Workspace ONE. Okay, so si Workspace ONE, it's a modern device management tool na siguro a few years back, it was called AirWatch. Para doon sa mga nakarinig na siguro sa kanya. So, ano bang kayang gawin ni Workspace ONE? Paano siya makakatulong sa atin in this scenario? Okay? So, it gives our users a ready-to-work experience. Paano? Okay? So, a key differentiator sa amin, we can do factory provisioning. Ibig sabihin nun, di ba, ang traditional way of doing things is we do imaging, is very manual. So kami, we are taking that piece out at kukunin na namin yung mga thick applications or the base applications to our factory and install it. Para si IT, wala na silang gagawin dito, basically. They don't have to configure anything. Lalo na kapag working from home, paano nyo i-configure, let's say, hundreds to 1,000 devices, okay? When it comes to self-service empowerment, ano ibig sabihin nito? One of the key challenges of most of our customers today are how to deploy applications. Usually kasi, from our experience, customers would ask, let's say, their IT or their help desk to install applications to their users. Paano nila gagawin yun ngayon, di ba? May pandemic, medyo hirap. So the self-service empowerment feature is giving your users the same manner of downloading, no, the applications katulad ng sa mobile phones natin, 'di ba? When you're, let's say, using an Android or an iOS, 'di ba, pag gusto mong mag-download ng app, you just go to the App Store. It's as simple as that. When it comes to management, 'di ba? This is also one of the things that is usually a hurdle or a struggle sa mga IT managers. Paano mo i-ensure that the devices, that the corporate devices out there are managed, 'di ba? With Workspace ONE, you can actually push out updates, changes in the BIOS, kung ano-anong mga security features that you would want to push to ensure that the devices which are enrolled to Workspace ONE are up to date, okay? When it comes to reports, yan, pwede rin gawin ni Workspace ONE. So, kayang makita ni IT or ng mga managers natin kung sino pa yung mga devices, let's say, are hindi pa nakakapag-update or hindi pa nakakapag-download ng kanilang mga patch na pinupush sa kanila ng IT, di ba? So, security issue yan. So, yan, kaya niyang tingnan. And of course, zero trust security. Ibig sabihin lang yan, all these things will be happening in the background using VMware's own tunnel, no? For those customers naman natin which don't have their own VPN or iniisip nila yung security, definitely the security feature is in place, no? You don't have to worry about hindi siya secured, okay? So is managed from the cloud, and it goes through VMware's tunnel to ensure na lahat ito accessed in a very secure manner. Okay? So, the good thing about Workspace ONE, if you can see here, ito actually yung kanilang pinaka-slogan. Diba? This modern management device tool can work with any device. It works with any application and with anyone. Okay? So, wala siyang pinipili. So whether let's say you have multiple type of devices, minsan may nagbi-BYOD, yung mobile phones, a Windows device, and even Chrome or iOS, kaya niyang i-manage. So any applications, again, whether it's a native app, it's SaaS, it's a traditional app, it's a web app, kaya rin niyang i-manage to. And of course, any identity for as long as it is enrolled within Workspace ONE, the user just has to sign on using yung kanilang credentials. So you don't have to keep on remembering so many different usernames and passwords for you to be able to maximize itong tool na ito. Okay? So, I know this is a quite busy tool, pero again, siguro just to reiterate lang rin again how Workspace ONE works. 'Di ba? Para dun sa mga hindi pa masyadong familiar, again, hindi pa gaanong sanay, again, it's a MDM. What we're pushing, of course, is for Windows, but again, it also works for other OSs. But what we are offering is something that is it can coexist with your existing management tools, no? We can also offer imageless provisioning. Later on, ipapakita natin kung anong ibig sabihin yan. So again, going back to that whole traditional way of deploying yung mga devices natin, di ba? It's very manual, it's very tedious. We can take that out. When it comes to configuration management, we can simply just push group policies, configuration, BIOS management, and even track yung asset, no, using Workspace ONE. When it comes to OS patch management naman, this can be done off the network. So, ibig sabihin, hindi mo kailangan to be within your VPN or within your office premises for you to be able to get all these updates, di ba? Hindi katulad ng mga dating traditional way of doing it. So, we can do patch auditing. Nakikita natin kung kanino siya na-deploy, sino na yung nakapag-download. Fourth is yung software distribution. Again, it's an end-to-end cycle. Later on, ipapakita natin further kung ano pa yung kaya niyang gawin, no? And of course, client and health security, hindi to pwedeng isang tabi because security is very, very important, okay? When it comes to integration sa BitLocker, when it comes to compliance, of course, Workspace ONE is built to do the job. Okay? So yan. So makita natin here, no, across different devices, it's a unified endpoint management, 'di ba? It's a single way to manage all these devices. So minsan may mga customers tayo na naka-BYOD pa, 'di ba? Or isang employee nila perhaps has 2 or 3 different devices. For as long as it is enrolled within Workspace ONE, kaya niyang i-manage ito. So again, yung headache from the IT managers na, paano ko makikita lahat yan? How do I ensure na lahat to are compliant? Everything can be managed through Workspace ONE. Okay? So, we talked about applications kanina. This is, I think, one of the most practical questions that has been asked, no, in the many times that we have presented this to our customers. How does it now segregate, especially for those BYOD or yung mga personal apps, no, ng mga customers natin? So, what Workspace ONE does, it separates work and personal apps, di ba? So, kung itong mga to are, let's say, personal apps na dinownload ni user, hindi yan papakialaman ni Workspace ONE. At the same time, what Workspace ONE will manage and will push and will update are those applications na work-related o yung mga na-i-download o kinuha ng users natin from the portal ni Workspace ONE. So that's how it happens. Now, there's also a few questions, no, na paano kung let's say nanakaw yung device o nawala o nasira, paano yung data na nasa loob? So, since it's an end-to-end solution, what Workspace ONE does, it can do remote wipe. Okay, it can remotely wipe all those information, all those applications which were coursed through Workspace ONE. Okay, so again, yung mga corporate apps natin, yan ang kayang i-manage. So hindi natin kailangang alalahanin o isipin paano na yung very sensitive info, di ba? So kaya niyang i-address yung concern na yon for as long as it is through Workspace ONE. Okay? So, yung mga personal apps, hindi siya magagalaw. Okay? Yan. So, another nice feature, no, for this pandemic is the Workspace ONE app has actually a communication tool, no, to help keep employees engaged and up to date. I think this is something that's very practical, lalo na sa Pilipinas, wherein we most oftenly change yung type of quarantine that we are in. Minsan nalilito na rin ako, MECQ, ECQ, ano na bang CQ tayo? Diba? So, si Workspace ONE, meron siyang feature, no, that can push a message to those devices which are enrolled, no, sa kanyang console. So basically, let's say if si bossing would say na, okay, itong particular set of employees natin would need to go to the office in this particular schedule, diba? From let's say 9 to 3 o'clock. Pwede niyang i-blast yan, diba? Selectively, diba? Depending on the profile of the user, pwede mo siyang i-blast. So think of it as something that's very similar to NDRRMC, no? Diba? Makakatanggap tayo ng mga update, parang ganyan. So, eto naman, you can select up to different profiles and push out messages just to ensure that the employees are up to date, alam nila kung ano yung gagawin nila, papasok ba sila, to what time ba, ano ba ang schedule, di ba? Especially for those who are in rotation, di ba? Or kung meron man silang certain schedule na sinusunod within the organization, I think it's very, very useful. Okay? Yeah. So, we've talked about Workspace ONE as a solution. So, to be very upfront with you, Workspace ONE will work with any brand. Okay? Kahit na anong device na nasa merkado, it will work. But how does it differ with us, no? Na nakapartner siya with Dell. Ano yung kakaiba if you buy a Dell machine with Workspace ONE? Ito yung tinatawag nating zero-touch provisioning or yung factory provisioning na tinatawag natin. So again, dito sa itaas, if you see all these icons here, ito yung traditional way of deploying devices. Lalo na in this pandemic, medyo mahirap kumilos, the physical activity is very limited. Makita natin, this is the user, papasok siya to the admin, diba? Bibili ng device, i-configure ng IP, it will take a lot of time and resources for them to be able to do so. And most often than not, matagal siya aabutin. Mga estimate natin, sabihin natin, 2 to 3 weeks. Whereas, when we do zero-touch provisioning, lahat ng ginagawa ng IT in this portion, which is doing the image, installing yung base applications, yung mga updates na kailangang ikarga with the drivers, all these things can actually be done sa Dell factory. Okay? So, because Workspace ONE is a fully automated tool, yung mga base apps, ikakarga na natin, all the drivers, all the updates can now be pushed kapag ka-deliver na sa end user. So, hindi na siya kailangan gawin pa ng IT. So, ganyan siya kasing bilis. So, this particular solution is something that we offer for a Windows 10 environment specifically. Dahil dyan naman usually maraming updates na nagaganap and dyan usually tumatagal, diba? So, typically for this type of solution, we can offer it give or take about 3 to 4 days. Diba? So what the customer can do, if they avail of this whole solution, pagkakuha nila, pag-deliver, let's say, ni fill data sa inyo ng mga devices ninyo, you just simply send it to your end users and they will just log on using yung kanilang AD credentials and they're ready to go. Yung mga IT natin, you don't need to configure anything anymore as long as all the applications which are required, naibigay na to Dell's factory. So yun yung pinaka-kagandahan niya and the benefit of it. So wala nang physical wala na ganong physical interaction. At the same time, yung employees natin, whether bago silang user o magre-refresh sila ng device, hindi na sila matatagalan. They don't have to wait for such a long time for them to be able to be productive. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Another key benefit of having this modern device management tool with Workspace ONE, si Dell mismo, we have our own client command suite. Ano naman tong si command suite? So I guess in layman's terms, it's an additional management tool specifically built for Dell devices. So ito, kanina diba we talked about yung traditional way of deploying. Marami dyan are very manual work, that let's say does configuration sa BIOS, sa mga kung ano-anong updates. So lahat to kayang gawin through this command suite. So this is a free tool that you can just download and pwede siyang i-integrate sa Workspace ONE. Another key feature nito is it can monitor all the devices, of course, all the Dell devices which are part of this enrollment, makikita na natin. Let's say kung yung health ng device mo, let's say yung battery ba, kailangan na for replacement, yung panel nito medyo nagkaroon ng flicker or whatever. It can do that proactively. So, hindi mo na aantayin na magkaroon ng problema. It again now saves you time in terms of addressing yung mga ganyang issues, And of course, when it comes to updates, again, all the, let's say, the latest driver updates or yung mga system updates, yung mga patches that are required for your Dell machines can be pushed automatedly using itong client command suite. So, kapag meron tayong Workspace ONE at meron tayong command suite, pwede natin siyang ipagdikit, Ito nga yung integration, as we call it here. Maibubuo mo na siya and you can do everything automatedly. Hindi na kailangan na pupunta pa ang user to the IT to get their devices fixed o kung ano man. So lahat ng updates kaya nang gawin remotely. So that is the beauty of it. Okay? Yeah. So we've talked about how to manage the devices and how Workspace ONE is a solution. But another thing that we usually talk about is VDI. This is something that I think is gaining a lot of popularity, lalo na ngayon in this pandemic as well. Previously, I would say much of the VDI users are into mostly mga banking or BPO na mga customers natin. But today, dahil nga gusto nating mas mabilis ang deployment and customers need a very secure solution to get things up and running, VDI is one of the things that they are looking at, or yung tinatawag nating virtual desktop infrastructure. Okay, so the virtual desktop infrastructure, it would definitely be a real end-to-end solution if you choose Dell. So, ba't natin nasabi na totoong end-to-end solution siya? Of course, you would need to have your endpoint, di ba? Makita natin dito. You can actually choose from a series of endpoints, Hindi lang basta thin clients. I, in fact, am using a Latitude device, pero nag-VDI rin ako. So, wag nating ililimita yung sarili natin with just a thin client, okay? For this particular solution. So, marami talaga, depending on what kind of environment you would want, what type of users you have, di ba? So, we can offer that. When it comes to the choice of broker, di ba? For you to be able to give that VDI to your users, of course, we offer two of the largest brokers in the market, si Citrix at saka VMware. And when it comes to infra, of course, kompleto rin tayo dyan, di ba? So, when it comes to yung mga vSAN Ready Nodes, VxRail, whether you would want to have an on-prem solution or kung gugustuhin man natin to go via cloud, we have this offering. So again, this is another solution which we are offering to customers that would want fast deployment ng kanilang mga applications, ensuring that, you know, the applications are secured at hindi nila basta-basta ma-access because everything is being controlled and is running sa kanilang infrastructure. So, yun naman ang difference. And the key call out here, of course, if you are looking to have this solution, internet connectivity is a must. So, yun lang ang isang catch dyan. But of course, this is a very, very secure way of deploying to you, our users. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So now, I think it's time for us to talk about security. No? Sobrang importante to. Why? Because lahat tayo ngayon are connected to the internet. And we know for a fact that a lot of the malicious attacks, yung mga salbahe out there, yung mga hackers, dyan tayo inaatake. And in fact, based from the data that we have, unfortunately, a lot of these threats takes such a long time before they get detected. Imagine mo, more than 3 months minsan bago nakikita ng security team natin that the device has been attacked. The second thing is about us being educated, no? As a user. Minsan hindi natin napapansin that we are already sharing confidential data to external people na hindi naman dapat nakakatanggap. So that's something that we have to watch out for. And another given fact, and I think this is very much applicable here in the Philippines, we have a very limited resource when it comes to managing security. So having said that, within the Dell Endpoint solutions, the portfolio that we have, what we are pushing for really is VMware's Carbon Black. So again, kanina, pinakita natin yung Workspace 1 ni VMware. So si VMware, in the last 2 years or so, they've purchased Carbon Black. Sino ba si Carbon Black at ano ba siya? So Carbon Black is your next generation antivirus solution. Unlike traditional antivirus na nakasanayan natin, I guess, no, it's pretty much very, very intelligent. It uses a single agent. It's a very, very lightweight agent na halos less than 1% lang yung utilization niya. So, hindi tayo mag-aalala na ang dami-dami niyang kinakaing resources. That's number 1. Number 2, it is cloud-based. So, anong kagandahan ng cloud-based? For those users na will avail of this, it can now it now collects intelligence through the cloud. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga attacks that are happening out there, nababantayan na niya, nakikita na niya. So it acts that way in such a way na kapag yung device mo naman inatake, and if it is already triggered sa cloud in the system, it already knows. And most often than not, users are spared, no, from any notification already. Ibig sabihin, minsan hindi mo alam na tinamaan ka na, na-isolate na ni Carbon Black and na-address na niya kasi because of that intelligence feature. So it's a single platform, it's a single agent, single console. So kung let's say you choose to, let's say, avail of Workspace 1, pwede rin siyang i-integrate. Okay? So it cuts for threats. It has endpoint detect and remediation. So it has all these features that a next generation antivirus would have. And again, it's something that's very useful for us dahil lahat tayo ngayon are connected to the internet. Okay, so yeah. So I think this is something that we should be highly considering. Okay, yeah. So, for our devices within Dell, most especially our notebooks, we also have these built-in features. So, these features are, of course, since they're built-in, free na sila, di ba? You don't have to pay anything extra for these features. So you see Safe ID. So si Safe ID actually uses a control vault within your Dell device. So yung mga credentials natin are stored dyan. So hindi yan basta-basta mananakaw, let's say, nung kung sino mang mga hacker. So isa yan. Second is yung Safe BIOS. What is Safe BIOS? It's a feature within Dell. Let's say your device gets compromised and tinamaan ng BIOS mo. What the IT manager can do is retrieve yung BIOS settings from Dell, no? Since we host it in our cloud, diba? So you can get your BIOS settings from Dell. Of course, this process happens with a handshake. Hindi yan basta-basta ibibigay kahit kanino. When it comes to the third one, which is yung safe screen, ito yung tinatawag nating digital privacy screen. Diba? So for users na, let's say, are working on very sensitive sheets or information, laging nagta-travel pa rin o kung ano man na ayaw nyo nakikita ng mga katabi ninyo yung ginagawa ninyo. So it's a digital privacy screen. Kung dati-rate we have a film that we put into on top of our panels, wala nang ganon. What this feature does, it dims yung screen natin para yung mga katabi natin hindi nakikita yung work na ginagawa natin. So that's how it works. So it practically shuts off yung mga nasa paligid mo while you facing the screen can still see what you're supposed to see. So ganon. So these are Dell unique built-in security features. Okay? Okay. Okay, so I think this is, I'm almost done. So this is the security, the service portion for our endpoint solution. So kanina, di ba, we said that, services plays a big part to make this whole thing happen. Of course, within Dell, for our endpoint devices, a good thing that we are very proud of is, number one, yung ating support structure is we do on-site. Anong kagandahan ng on-site natin? Unlike other brands who typically require customers to carry in yung mga, let's say, nasira nilang devices to a service center, hindi ganun ng pamamaraan with Dell, diba? How we treat servicing. Ang engineers namin will definitely go to wherever you are, diba? For as long as, syempre in this situation wherein minsan may mga areas which are in a hard lockdown, but aside from that, or kung wala mang mga ganyang issues, our engineers, the Dell engineers, would definitely go to you and fix whatever it is that needs to be fixed. So that's number one. Second, we highly encourage our customers to go with a Pro Support or Pro Support Plus para doon sa kanyang predictive na support structure, diba? It has that feature wherein it's proactive, hindi pa nagfi-fail, let's say, yung hard drive mo or yung memory mo, hindi pa nagka-crash. It can already detect and trigger it to our system para bago pa mangyari yon, malalaman na namin and we can send that support kaagad to you, our customers. So again, this whole service structure that we have is to really help you, no, nang hindi na kayo masyadong naaabala, 'di ba, with the factory provisioning a while ago na naikwento natin. And even with this one, if the device fails, if there is a problem, kami na mismo ang pupunta. So we have that feature, and all these people that will be going to you are our own Dell engineers. So yun yung isang key benefit rin of having Dell as your endpoint of choice. Okay? So, siguro this is just a quick summary, no, of what things we've talked about this morning. So, I guess you guys being our customers, ano ba yung key takeaways that Dell has? Of course, if you have, let's say, a new refresh or you have new employees coming in, we do hope that you choose Dell as your hardware of choice. And of course, hindi naman yan basta't matitigil lang with the devices that we have. We have a lot of accessories to go with it, no? For those customers na, let's say, would want a second monitor, we have a lot of sizes to choose from. We have, let's say, docking stations that, can elevate yung productivity of your users. When it comes to deployment naman, yan, again. So, I failed to mention a while ago, one of the key things that our services can do, apart from Workspace ONE, since Workspace ONE is a modern management tool, pwede rin namin gawin through our services sa factory to get your image. 'Di ba? Para hindi nyo na siya kailangan gawin. But again, that piece, wala na siyang management tool. It's just basically putting in yung generic image and yung applications to your devices. Okay? So when it comes to modern management, modern provisioning and device management, of course, we can address this. We mentioned this a while ago through Workspace ONE. So you just have to consider, let's say, getting a POC. We can engage you, no, if you're interested. We can do a POC and walk you through this if you want a deeper engagement. When in terms of setting up collaboration tools, of course, kami, we like what we're using today. We're using Teams and OneDrive. Ito are really tools that are, very helpful, no? Lalo na wala tayong mga face-to-face ngayon. It's a very collaborative tool that we use. When it comes to remote access, no, VDI is one of the key solutions which we are highly encouraging our customers to, explore and see, to ensure that, they have a very secure environment. At the same time, mabilis yung deployment ng mga applications na kailangan gamitin ng mga users. And of course, when supporting you, our users, our customers, no, Pro Support Plus, together with yung service desk namin, can be fully integrated. And again, eliminating yung mga very manual things that are usually done, di ba? Everything can now be automated. And kami na rin mismo ang pupunta sa inyo if anything fails in the machine, di ba? If may kailangang i-replace, you don't have to carry in your devices para safe kayo sa inyong mga bahay. And of course, when it comes to endpoint security, Carbon Black is our next generation antivirus of choice. So your devices, which is usually ang pinaka forefront, no, ng attackers, is the endpoint. And dahil nga everyone is connected to the internet, we have to ensure that our devices are secured and we have that intelligent type of antivirus installed to eliminate, no, yung mga ganyang klaseng mga threats. So again, I'd like to thank you everyone for sharing your time this morning. I hope marami akong naikwento and you give us back the same interest, no? So if you have questions, please feel free to ask away. So again, thank you, and good morning.